Hello everyone, welcome to UiPath tutorials. In this session, we will learn about CSV and also we will learn how to read CSV files by using Read CSV activity, and also we'll see how to write the data into CSV files by using Write CSV activity, and also finally we'll see how to append the data to CSV file by using Append to CSV activity. First of all, we will learn about CSV files for a minute. What is CSV stands for? CSV stands for comma separated values. In the sense, if you see on my screen that I'm having a CSV file, if you see for each and every value that has been separated with the comma separated, or a specific delimiter has been used to separate a value from each and every value. If you see on my screen that I'm having student name, these are the fields. Hindi, the subjects which we have Hindi, English, Telugu, Math, Science and Social. These are all the subjects. If you see, each and every value or the field has been separated with the comma separate. This is nothing but comma separated values. These CSV files allows data to be saved in the tabular format. Here, each and every line is called as a record, and each record consists of one or more fields. If you see, student name is the field, Hindi, English, these are all the subjects. Each and everything or the fields are separated by commas. Now we'll see what are the difference for the CSV and the Excel file. If you see on my right hand side, we are having Excel file, and the left hand side that we are having CSV file. I'm having the same kind of data, student name and the marks in the Excel, and the same kind of details if you see on my screen on the left hand side, that we are having the same related information over there. But what is the difference between these two things? One is CSV and the Excel files format. CSV file format is a plain text format in which values separated by the comma separate, that is CSV. While Excel file format in an Excel sheet, this is the binary file format which holds the information about all the worksheets in a file, including both content and the formatting. If you see the CSV files on the left hand side, that what we have can be opened by any spreadsheet program like Microsoft Excel, OpenOffice, Google Sheets and Notepad. Also you can open them in the simple text editor as well. So that is the reason it is widely spread and most popular format for storing and reading the data across the globe. Now we are having Excel files also which are on my right hand side, that these Excel files are Microsoft Excel workbook files used in between 1997 to 2003. Later, these Excel versions used with the extension that is called Excel SX is the extension for the format. Now, if you see all these Excels information having the workbook, including formatting, charts, images, formulas, and all these things, whereas these kind of features are not available in this CSV. Now, I hope you understand what is CSV and the main difference for the CSV and the Excel. Now, let me switch to UiPath Studio. Now in this session, what we are going to learn about the CSV activities. What kind of CSV activities that we are going to learn? If you see under CSV, we are having three activities. One is Read CSV, Write CSV, and the Append CSV. We will learn these three activities right now in this session. Now let me go to the project. I'm going to create a new sequence by clicking on Add Sequence. I'm going to give the name as CSV Activities, and then I'm going to click on Create. Let me go to Activities. Now, first of all, we'll learn about the Read CSV. First of all, we'll see the scenario. If you see, I'm having this kind of information, student information in my CSV file, and the format is, if you see, it has been opened in the notepad so that you can't find the extension, but the extension for the CSV files is .csv, that is comma separated values. Okay, now these values, these CSV file, how can we go ahead and read that by using UiPath? Now you can see find the activity over here with the read CSV. Let's drag and drop onto the panel. But if you observe for the Excel, you are going to use Excel application scope to read from the or to open Excel. What is the activity that we are using? Excel application scope. But we don't want any kind of scope, Excel application scope over here. We can go ahead directly, we can go ahead and we can read the data. Okay, first of all, we'll see the properties. First one is file path, the path where the CSV file has been chosen. Another one, delimiters. So as I said, there are a lot of delimiters are available in the CSV files. These are the list. One is tab, comma, semicolon, caret, pipe. These are all the delimiters which are going to be supporting in the UiPath. Okay, and if you see another property that is has headers, that the CSV file having the headers or not. If I'm having headers, then I'm going to select it. And then if you see ignore quotes, so this is the boolean value, true or false, we'll give it over here. In the sense, if you want to ignore double quotes, if you see over here, I'm having each and every field started with the double quotes. If you want to ignore them or not, if you are going to give it true, then you are going to ignoring it. If you are giving false, uh, by taking that values, you can go ahead and you can select all the values. I will show you this property also. Now I have given all the file I have given as an input. After that, I have selected multiple options like delimiter, has headers, ignore quotes, and all these things. Now, where I have, after reading the CSV file, where I can go ahead and save the output that is in the data table. If you see in Excel, we are having read range, right? We're going to store the data in the data table. In the same way, here also, by using read CSV, we can go ahead, we can store the data in the data table. Now let me start from the read file. I'm going to browse for the file, and then you can see over here, I'm having a file over here with the name of student. If you see the extension over here, Microsoft Office Excel, comma, separated value. I'm going to select that value and clicking on open. You can see the path over here. And now if you see what is the delimiter, if you open once again, if you see the delimiter over here, delimiter, that I can say delimiter or delimiter, that we can have comma or semicolon or pipe or caret. This is the symbol of the caret, shift, this is the value, caret. These are all the values that we can go ahead and we can use the delimiter. Okay, now what is the value that we have? We are having comma, so that I am going to use comma. And is it having any has headers? Yes, true. Do you want to ignore the quotes? Yes, I want to ignore that. I'm going to give it as true or false. Okay. Now, if you see, I will show you how we are going to using. Now, if you see data table, where we are going to store the output, I'm going to click on, by clicking on Control K, I'm going to set a variable like read CSV data table. And then I'm going to click on enter. Now we'll go for the variables over here. And if you see the variables, the variable type is data table, as is we have seen in the read range activity. Now we have seen how to read the data, but I have not ran the bot as of now, but somewhere I have to show the output, right? Where I can show the output. If you see, I'm having the data table, right? I will use right range activity. I'm not going to explain over here, but I'm just going to use right range activity under the Excel. Let's drag and drop. Before this right range activity, what is the scope that we have to use? Excel application scope. First of all, let's drag and drop the Excel application scope. And then I'm going to browse the file. I'm not going to store anywhere, but simply I'm going to give the some other name. By just I'm going to select the path, and then I'm going to say student details. Okay, I will say student details, which is not exist. And then what I'm going to see over here, if the path is, if the file is not exist, create a new file. Okay, I'm going to select this option. Now whatever the output has been came in the read CSV, I want to write somewhere. By using right range activity, I'm going to write in the Excel file. Where I'm going to write it? In the student details in the sheet 1, starting from the A1 cell, I'm going to read it and then I'm going to write it. What is the output that I want to write it? Over here you can see read CSV data table. And then I'm going to save it. Let me go to the project. Let me refresh it once again. Because of this, can you see student details? Do we have any student details kind of Excel information out here? No. First of all, I'm going to read the CSV and I'm going to store the output in the read CSV data table. That is the data table. And then by using Excel application scope, that I'm going to create a new file with the student details. Because of I don't have this file, Excel file, so that I'm going to create the new file and then I'm going to write the data over here, and then I'm going to write by using write range activity. I'm going to write into the sheet 1 from the starting from A1 cell, and the output, what is the output? This is the input from which read CSV having the output, correct? So I'm going to write this and then I'm going to show a message box, process has completed. Okay, let me drag and drop and I'm going to say process completed. Let me go ahead, let me run the bot. Now if you see the process has been completed. Now you can see the student details.excel file has been created. Now let me open that. Now if you see the entire data, you can see the data over here. Because of why I don't find the headers over here, because of I have given in the read CSV, I have given has headers, right? Now let me go ahead, let me remove this, uncheck this box, has headers. Now let me go ahead, let me run the bot. Now if you see that, do you got this headers also? And if you observe, each and everything having double quotes. The reason is that if you see over here, there is an option that we have given ignore quotes true. Now make it as false over here. And then let me save the bot and then let me go ahead, let me run the bot. Now process has been completed. Now let me go ahead. If you see over here, the Excel, now if you see the Excel, that what we are having without double quotes, all the information that we have without double quotes. Because of the reason you have given ignore quotes equal to false. That's the reason in the Excel you don't find double quotes. If you want to ignore them and you want to add them also, then you are going to give the property as true and then you will get the values. And has headers, if you are going to select this checkbox, then you are not going to get the columns in the Excel file. This is how you are going to read the CSV file from the CSV file by using Read CSV Activity. Till now, we have seen how to read CSV file by using Read CSV Activity. Now, what we are going to do, we are going to learn about Write CSV. If you see over here what we have done, first we have read the CSV file by using read CSV activity, and then by using Excel application scope that we are going to write into the Excel file, that is student details.excel sx file, by using write range activity. Now to write into the CSV, how can we go ahead and do that? We are having two ways. First, now if you see, we are going to do exactly reverse over here. How can we go ahead and do that as a first method? First of all, I'm going to read from the student details. That is from the Excel file, I'm going to read by using read range. I'm going to use read range activity and then I'm going to store in the data table. And then by using write CSV activity, I'm going to write into the new file. That is one way. Or else the another way that we have already read CSV file, right? And we have stored the output into the read CSV data table. From there onwards, we are going to write into the another CSV file that is using write CSV file. Okay. The second method that which we are going to read CSV and then I'm going to write into the another CSV by using write CSV activity that I'm going to do right now. And then I'm going to give you as an exercise how you are going to do by using reading the Excel file by using read range, and then we are going to write into the write CSV activity. That is for the exercise. Okay. Now we will delete this Excel application scope right now. Right now I'm going to drag and drop write CSV onto the panel. First of all, we'll see the properties of the Write CSV. If you see, the common property is display name and the file path where I want to write this Write CSV. Okay, now let me go to the path, and then if you see, I want to give the path over here. How can I go ahead and give the path? You can go on any environment, or else let me go to the project. Right now what I'm going to do, if you see, previously we have taken some file, that is student details I have written, right? I'm going to the same location. I'm going to take this same students over here, the same path that I'm going to take it. Okay, and then I'm going to copy it over here in the file path. Okay, how can I go ahead and do that? Or else you can see I'm just giving students CSV, already I'm having it, so that I will go ahead and give it as students dot 2. I will give it students 2.csv. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to read from the CSV and I'm going to write into the students 2.csv. Okay, and you can see the data table. What is the input of this data table? The output which we got it from the read CSV, or if you're going to do for the read range, you will get the data table as an output. The same data table, I'm going to take it and I'm going to give it as the input for the data table. Okay, now if you see, I have selected read CSV. Now if you see the delimiter, in read CSV that we are having delimiter as comma separated. Now I will take it some more thing, right? Let me take it pipe. So, okay, if you are having the input of the pipe, you are going to take the pipe over here, and then I'm going to uh, give the output over here in the students2.csv. Okay, now let me go ahead, let me run the bot. Let's see, as of now, if you see the student2 that I don't have in this path, correct? What will happen if I'm going to run this bot? If you see, the process has been completed. Now let me click on OK. If you see over here, you can find students2.csv. Okay, let me go ahead, let me open it. Now you can see the output over here. For student name, it has been pipeline separated, and you can see for every value has been row has been written by using return write CSV activity. Okay, now let me explain you once again. I'm going to read the CSV from the students.csv, which is the comma separated values, CSV values, so that I'm going to store the output over here in the read CSV data table. And from there to use write CSV activity, what I'm going to do, I'm going to write into the file that is students2.csv file. But if you observe over here, the students2.csv file is not available in the path. So what it has done, it has created a new file, and then from there, to insert the data or to write the data, it has been taken from the input, that is the read CSV data table is the input for this one, which is the output from the read CSV file. And then once the process has been completed, we have displayed the message box like process has been completed, and the output is what it looks like. Because of why we got the pipeline, we have given the input over here. You can see write CSV, we have given the delimiter as pipe. That's the reason we got the pipeline output. I hope you understand how to use write CSV. As an exercise, use read range activity and then write into the file, that is right by using write CSV. That is the exercise for you. Now we will learn about the append CSV. What is append CSV? So we are going to concatenating with the existing file, and then we are going to be adding the data into the CSV file. Okay, now let me go ahead. I'm going to remove this CSV as of now, and then I'm going to append CSV over here. Let me drag and drop append CSV, append to CSV activity. First of all, we'll see the properties. The file path. If you see the file path where you want to concatenate, this is the where you have to concatenate. I will say I'm already having students, right? I'm going to take the same path over here, or just directly, we are having the local repository, local path, right? So I will take the same thing. I want to concatenate the data into the student2. Okay, now from where this data, I don't want to read the same data over here. I will take from somewhere. I will take from my desktop. I'm having some students. Okay, And then what I'm going to do, I want to append to which data table? I'm already having student 2. From there, I'm going to append this data. What is the input over here? First of all, we'll see the file path we have seen. The input is the data table which we want to. And now I will use some other one like caret. Okay, the delimiter I will use as the caret. Okay, and the data table input, I'm going to give the same thing, read CSV. Okay, now let me go ahead. Let me open once again student 2, that what we'll understand. Okay, let me go ahead, let me edit it. As of now that we see all the data you can see with the pipe. Pipe is the delimiter that which you have, and you can see the data over here. And whatever the data right now I'm going to use it. No, whatever the data right now I'm going to read it, the data will be append to the student2.csv by using the delimiter of the caret. Append is nothing but adding the rows at the end of the file. If you see, the files will be adding from here. If you see on my screen that after that the records will be inserted over here. Let me go ahead, let me run the bot. Now you can see process has been completed. Now you can see the data over here. First, after Dev, you can see the data. Again, Amir, because of the data, I have given the same kind of data. That's the reason you can find multiple times. But if you see the delimiter, it is a caret, so which it has been appended. It's not overwritten. Okay, this is how you are going to use append to CSV activity. I hope you understand how to use read CSV activity, write CSV activity, and append to CSV activity in this session. Thank you for watching UiPath tutorials. If you have any queries related to this concept, please post them in the comment section. I will see you in the next session. Till then, bye-bye. Have a nice day.